Okay, hey everybody, welcome to our team chat. Today is June 20th, and I'm super excited to be talking to you guys on the very first day of summer. Yay. It's like 85 degrees here. It's really nice, like a little warm for moving, but I'm not complaining because the weather here has been kind of crazy. One day it's like really hot, the next day it's raining and freezing cold and you need a jacket. It's been kind of strange, but we're here first day of summer, so I'm assuming it's going to get a lot warmer from here on out. So I just wanted to say a couple things, just kind of like reminders and checking in with everyone, and then I have a few things I want to talk to you guys about that have been on my mind a lot this last couple days. So first of all, I wanted to say this team challenge we have going has been ridiculously awesome. I'm so happy. I hope you guys are all excited as I am that we just decided to jump in and do this together. I feel like the engagement and the participation level inside of the group is really great. And I think that that is just going to keep building as time goes on, because like with traditional challenge groups, we start a group and by the time it gets to this point, it's over, right? And then we transition them all into another group where they don't know anyone. So I just kind of feel like the way this challenge is going, it's just going to keep getting better as more people come on who are interacting. And so I did want to just caution everyone, this is something I mentioned before I started recording, but I do want to say this again just for everyone's benefit. When you add people into this group, you're going to have two types of people. You're going to have the person who's super outgoing and sees all of this excitement and is like, yeah, and they're like, party time, and they want to be involved right away. And then you're going to have the more shy people who see all of these people they don't know, and they're like, oh my God, these people already know each other. I don't know anyone. And they're going to tend to kind of place themselves on a back burner. And so my point is, it's really on you as the coach who has brought them into this group to help them plug in. And the way you do that is by really reaching out to them personally in a private message. And it's so easy. Just send a message, say, hey, you've been in our group for a week. Have you been seeing the posts? You know, what do you think so far? I just did this a couple days ago and I got some really great conversations going. And what you're going to find most of the time is that people are like, oh yeah, I've been following. I know I haven't really been participating, but I've been following and I've been reading everybody's posts and I really love it. You know, it's really helping me stay motivated. So you're going to see that. And so I just don't want anyone to write someone off because they're not participating openly, because you will always have those people, even in a smaller group, you'll always have those people who are just a little bit more shy and posting a photo of themselves or a video or even commenting on something, you know, with people that they don't know is something that they're not really comfortable with. So we can help them become comfortable just by bringing them in, by bringing the excitement to them, you know, and just encouraging them to participate as well. So I just wanted to point that out. But overall, I'm just so thrilled with the way this team challenge is going. I really am. I'm super excited. I feel like this is a system that we now have in place for new coaches who maybe feel a little scared about hosting their own group, or maybe, you know, they work really hard and they only get 2 customers, and then it's like, well, you know, it's not really, 3 people is not really a great group, right? We want at least 10 or 20 people. So this is a great way to have this resource for new coaches, so that at least until the point that they have a customer base built up where they can feel comfortable hosting their own groups, it just takes the pressure off, and I really like that. So if you guys have ideas for things that we can do within the group, like other mini challenges, we're planning on doing 1 a month. I think this one went over really well, the one we just finished. If you have ideas for other mini challenges we can do, let's go for it. If you think of an idea for like a day theme, something we can like promote the day before so that people are ready for it, let's do it. Let's make it fun and engaging. And really, you don't have to get permission from anyone. This is our group together as a whole. So if you see something that's motivating, encouraging, inspiring, something you think is funny, something you think is going to provide value of any type to the group, don't ask for permission, just go for it. Just dive in. That's what this is all about. The other thing, there was one other thing and I didn't write down my reminders, so bad on me. I can't remember now. Hopefully I'll remember later. Okay, so I'm going to just dive in. I have just a few things I want to say. I don't think this is going to go very long, but I was thinking today, and yesterday is really when it started, but thinking about all the ways that we get in our own way. All right, and I know everybody's heard the saying or the phrase, I am my own worst enemy. Like, we've all heard that, right? And I know everyone who's honest will admit that you've been your own worst enemy at some point in your life. I know for dang sure I have, like really big time, you know, like we are so much harder on ourselves, and we expect our standard that we expect from ourselves is so much higher than anything we'd ever expect from anyone else. And it's just, you know, I think a lot of times we totally sabotage ourselves, and we sabotage our potential by just being so hard on ourselves and not giving ourselves grace. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the ways that we get in our own way and how you can avoid doing that. So for instance, when we're talking about our business, and this is really honestly like with a lot of things we talk about on team calls and a lot of trainings you'll hear, this is true across the board, right? Like for just life, success in life in general. And speaking of success, I just want to throw this out there. I heard somewhere, oh, it was Tony Robbins, who is like one of my favorites. I love Tony Robbins for personal development. But he mentioned on a chat, I was watching him, he was being interviewed, and the person asked him, so what do you say is the most important ingredient to success? And he basically, his answer back was, I really can't answer that question because success means something completely different for every single person. And I think that's something that, this is not even in my notes, but I'm on it, so I'm going to go. That's something that I think is so important, because so many times we look at someone else and it really plays into our own personal why, right? Like if I'm going to attack a challenge and take on a challenge, but I haven't dialed into my why, guess what happens? Distractions come, somebody hates on me, somebody's negative about what I'm doing, I don't believe in what I'm doing, and we don't do it. We're not successful. Why? Because we didn't have a why that was powerful enough, right? So if I'm as a brand new coach and I'm like, okay, I need a why, and I'm listening to this national wake-up call and I hear somebody talking about how, you know, well, their why was paying off student loan and getting their kids' college fund funded or something like that. I don't know. But basically what I'm saying is your why has to be super personal to you. Success is super personal to you. Success for some people might just be, hey, like I can stay home with my kids and we have a roof over our head, and once a year we get to go to Disneyland. You know, I get to provide the moral support for my children. I get to see them grow. That might be a perfect level of success. Maybe somebody wants 5 kids and they want to be able to support 5 kids. For somebody else, success might be completely different. And for them, it might be, you know, I want to be a world traveler. I want to be a jet setter. I don't know. You know, it's totally different for everyone. And so it's really important for us, if we want to be successful, whatever that means for us, to understand what it means for us, right? And don't take on somebody else's idea of what success is or somebody else's why and try to run with that. And I can tell you guys from just being honest, when I look back over my 4 years as a coach, trust me, that is something that stumped me for a few years, because I would hear, oh yeah, that's cool, that's super cool. Well, you know what? Your why, if it's not personal to you, it's not going to push you. It might push Susie down the street, but it won't push you because it's not your personal goals and what really matters to you. So it's really important to dial into who am I? Who am I? What do I want out of my life? And until you can figure that out, the why is going to be really hard to nail down. But it's really important to understand who you are, why you want what you want, right? And then be able to go after it. But along the way, we'll find times, sometimes these times are short, sometimes they're really long periods in our life, where we allow ourselves to get in our own way, and we really truly do become our own worst enemy. And it can take the form, so many different forms, but I think some of the big ones to me are self-doubt. So for instance, you might have a coach who signs up and they're like all gung-ho, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna be a coach, this is gonna be awesome, I'm super excited. And 2 weeks later, boom, where are they? They never even posted about anything, right? And then they're, you know, they're just MIA. It's easy sometimes to get super gung-ho about something, and we're going along, and if we just continue on that path, guess what happens? It blows up, right? And it's awesome. But what happens is, as we go and as a couple days go by, all the self-doubt starts to set in. And now we're wondering, what the heck was I thinking? I'm not qualified for this. I'm not good enough to do this. Who do I think I am that I can tell somebody else how to be healthy? I'm still not at my goal weight. You know, and all of these different doubts start coming into our head and really can throw us off our game. Another one is fear of failure. Like, hello, right? We all know what that feels like. But being afraid to fail, that's something huge that stops us from achieving our goals. Uncertainty. Did I make the right decision? Am I qualified enough to do this? You know, am I smart enough to do this? Do I have the resources? And then the last one that I wanted to talk about is lack of preparation. And I feel like this is a big one with coaching. And it's one that I don't really hear much talked about, but I feel like a lot of times people get started on coaching, and I know I did it. I think probably everybody to a certain extent does this, but we get started and we are like, oh yeah, cool, I'm a coach. And we pay the $40 fee or whatever. Sometimes we sign up for free with the challenge pack, but we get started with this super low startup fee, right? And so in our minds, we don't value the opportunity like we would some other opportunity. And what I mean is, if I'm signing up and this is my business and this is my path to my why, right? This is what this is my plan to get all of those goals and dreams that I have, but I won't take the time to research Shakeology and figure out what the heck makes it so amazing, why anybody would want to pay $4.30 a day to buy Shakeology. I don't take the time to put into my business and learning. And so when somebody comes at me with an objection to Shakeology, now my hands are tied and I'm stumped and I'm like, I have no idea what to say because I didn't take the time to prepare for my job. And so I think this is something that I see happen a lot. And I know it happened with me too, but at some point you have to get serious about this and you have to look at this as, this is my job, you know, for whatever why it is that you want. Maybe you're the person, you know, that wants to go on a couple vacations a year and provide, you know, extra finances. None of that's going to happen from that level all the way up to full-time career coach is not going to happen if you don't prepare, right? You're always going to be mediocre. And so I watched a TED Talk today, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's like a motivational speaker. And he said that what got him turned around, he was basically like a blue-collar worker sitting on his couch one day, and he happened to hear some other motivational speaker guy talking about success. And the guy said, if you took something you enjoyed, it can be anything, something you enjoyed, and you spend 1 hour a day devoted to that thing, learning about it, researching it, practicing it, 1 hour a day for 5 years, you will be a world-class expert on that subject. And if you think about it, that's not that much time, right? And I'm going to tell you, as a Beachbody coach, you don't need a whole hour a day training on coaching and what coaching's about and Shakeology and our different products. But take a good 15 minutes a day or even a half an hour a week and learn what you're doing. Become the expert. Put the time in, you know, and that way when people come at you with objections or questions, you're not you're not frozen in fear because you don't know what to say. Because it's like anything, when we devote our time to something and we're studying it and we're a student of it, and when somebody asks a question, it's just going to flow and it's just going to come out of your mouth before you even think about it, because you've been there and you've immersed yourself in that subject. I hope that's making sense, right? Am I speaking? Okay. So lack of preparation, I think that's a big one, and I think it's one that gets often overlooked, like I said. So my suggestion would just be, like, again, take a few minutes a week, take 30 minutes a week. When the podcast comes out on Shakeology, once a month, there's an educational podcast that comes out. It's by Darren Oline, who is one of the founders of Shakeology. And he talks about Shakeology, and he just gives all this great information about the ingredients, where they come from, where they're sourced from, and basic information about why Shakeology is so amazing. If you've had a condition, an illness, anything about your own life that has changed because of Shakeology, maybe you suffered from fatigue before, and now you have all this boundless energy. Figure out which ingredients in Shakeology did that for you. Okay, like for me, like I had IBS. Figure out what about Shakeology makes it so good for people with digestive issues. That way, when you're talking to someone and they're like, you're telling your story, hey, I had IBS and it's gone. It took 3 months. It's gone. I haven't had it for 4 years. And the person goes, oh, wow, I have colitis. Or, oh my God, like I've been dealing with IBS for years. I didn't know I could get rid of it. You'll have a frame of reference to talk to them about why it happened, not just some miracle happened one day and Shakeology got rid of my IBS. Like, no, there's a reason why. Okay, so the second there's two parts to what I wanted to talk about. One is how we get in our own way. The second part I wanted to focus on tonight is how we allow other people to get in our way. And I was intending on talking about the first part already, and then based on some posts I saw in our challenge group today, I thought, I'm going to hit on this too, because this is so big, you guys. So big. So many times we allow people who have no ties really to our success. If I win or lose, it's not going to impact this person at all, right? They're not going to care, number one. Number two, it's not going to affect them. And yet they're so free and willing with the negative comments and the advice that is, labeled as, oh, I'm just trying to be supportive, or, oh, I just want to help you, when really all it is they're bringing you down, all right? And we let it happen. We let it happen. So number one, take responsibility. If you've got somebody in your life who's been super negative and maybe you've been letting it affect you, take responsibility for your part that you play in that. I choose the people who are around me, right? I choose what I let in my head. I choose who I let affect me. So it's number one, it's my responsibility to surround myself with people who not only support me, but who want to see me succeed, and they're not jealous and they're not haters, but they actually love me and care about me, regardless of whether my success is going to impact them or not, right? And the ones who don't, those negative Nellies, kick their butts out on the curb. Come on now. Like, I'm too old. I'm 37 years old, y'all, and I am too old to have people in my life who are trying to bring me down. I don't have time for that in my life. And I've gotten rid of a lot of that over the last 4 years. So that's my number one. Kick them to the curb. Identify who they are, and when they open their mouth and they come at you with those comments, immediately it should be like, I see you, I know you, and you're not allowed in my life. I'm not allowing this in my life. A lot of times we let fear of judgment, what other people are going to think of us, again, affect us. And again, I say to you, is your success or your failure going to impact them at all? No, it's not. So why do we let them affect what we do to make ourselves successful or not do, right? But we do. So don't, and I know it's like this easy, right? Like, don't let people affect you. I think the key to it is rather than saying like, I'm not going to let this person affect me. And I'm going to, at the end of this, I have a couple more I'm going to go through, but I have a way that I've come up with that I learned, I think, on a national wake-up call. I believe it was Vito Lafata. If you want to go back in the National Wake-Up Call archives, the last time he spoke had to have been probably getting close to a year ago now. But he talked about this, and it was just like, I listened to that call like probably 4 times, and it was just like, oh my God, it hit me. So that's what I'm going to relate to you tonight. But okay, so we have people, we fear judgment from people, we fear what they're going to think of us. We fear about what they're saying about us, right? Saying behind our backs or to our faces, most of the time behind our backs because they're little cowards. We fear the haters. We fear the negative Nellies. We have small-minded people. Have you ever heard that phrase, don't tell your big dreams to small-minded people? It's so true, you guys. So, so, so true. If you know that you have someone in your life, maybe it's somebody you can't get rid of, okay? Because let's face it, sometimes we have people that we might love to kick to the curb, but we really can't because it's a sister, brother, aunt, uncle, right? But when we have those types of people in our lives, like, it's even that more important to reserve what you say or protect your dreams. And, you know, there's some people that you should tell, and there's some people you just shouldn't tell. Like, why open the can of worms, right? Especially if you know that what they say in response to your dreams or your goals or whatever it is you're going to tell them has the power to affect you. Just don't even go there. Keep it a light, superficial relationship. And then there's the posers, and I already mentioned these people, but these are the people that, oh, they're the worst because they come off as this loving, caring person, like, oh, I just want the best for you, honey, but are you sure that you really want to quit your job and move off to Idaho? You make a lot of money. Girls, I heard this, okay, a lot, trust me, from people I work with who, and honestly, some of them, I think it was out of concern and love, right? It was out of concern and love. But the bottom line is you can't let posers, people who are pretending to be supportive but really just want to be negative and crush your dreams because they're jealous of somebody who succeeds because they haven't done a single thing in their life to put themselves up there, right? Or the people who truly do care but they just don't get it. We just can't let that affect us. And so here's the filter that I want to give you guys. And I think I've said this before on calls. And again, it's Vito Lafata if you want to look him up. But when somebody comes to me and says something negative, or maybe they offer a piece of advice, right? But it's not the kind of advice I need. Always, always run it through the filter of, is this person, if they continue on the path they're on with their life, 10 years from now, where they're going to end up, is that where I want my life to end up? Do I want my life to be where they're headed? Is that the kind of lifestyle I want for my family? Is that the kind of lifestyle I want to live? And if the answer is no, turn it off. I'm not going to allow people who are headed the opposite direction of me affect my progress, my forward progress. If you're not headed the same direction, why would you accept their advice, right? So if you think about it in the sense of somebody, say I'm having trouble with my marriage and I need some marriage advice. I am not, sure as heck, not going to go to the 5-time divorced person and say, hey, I'm having trouble with my marriage. I'd really like some marriage advice, right? If I'm having trouble with my finances, I'm not going to go to the person who's been bankrupt over and over and over and ask them for help with my finances, right? When we're in trouble or when we want advice, who do we go to? We go to people we respect. We go to people who we know have knowledge and maybe have personal life experience, and they've overcome things that we're trying to overcome now because they've led the charge, right? They've led the way. They're on the same path. They might be a little bit ahead of us, but that's where I want to go. I don't want to go that way. I don't want to go backward. All right. So that's the filter that I run. And it's funny because when I listened to that national wake up call the first time, I needed that at the moment. And ever since then, it's like people, I hear things and it's like, I got my filters on, right? I'm not letting it in. I'm not letting it mess with my head. So again, just to kind of wrap up, if you want to stop getting in your own way and you want to stop allowing people to get in your way, you have to really dig into your why. And I know this is something that Beachbody coaches talk about a lot. You're going to go on YouTube and search why with Beachbody. I mean, there's going to be like a gazillion videos. They talk about it on the National Wake Up Call. You hear about it at summit trainings. And it's because it's really important. And if this is something that you struggle with, maybe you're like, okay, maybe like me, it took me forever to figure out my why because I kept getting distracted by all of these other people, right? And their whys. And it's like, oh, that sounds really good. Oh, that sounds really good. Well, maybe that's my why. That's my why. It didn't motivate me. You have to figure out what motivates you. It's very, very, very personal. But dig into your why. And if you need a book, a personal development book, one that I recommend highly is by Simon Sinek, and it's called Start With Why. Amazing. I love that book. It is so, so on point. And that's a good book too for your challengers. If you have people who struggle a little bit maybe with staying motivated, it's a great book for motivation, learning how to motivate yourself from within yourself, because that's really the best motivation ever, right? I can get you pumped up real quick, but the second we get off this call, it's like gone, right? We have to learn how to generate our own motivation and how to get that engine going inside. And that's what your why does. Let's see. When your motivation is bigger, or your why is bigger than what's in your way, you will succeed every time. And here's another one that Tony Robbins ism for you. Given a choice to die or succeed, you will succeed, right? When you have, and that's really what your why is all about. That's a little bit of a negative one, but I'm just saying, when your why is big enough, like in that situation, life or death, people figure out a way, right? Or they die trying. But they don't just sit back and go, oh, I guess it's all over. I guess I'm just going to die today. No, we figure it out. We work at it. We bust our tails and we do whatever we can, right? To make it work and to live and to succeed. And so then finally, one more thought for you is turn your excuse into your why. And when you do that, you'll find a solution for your problem. And so, for instance, let me give you just a couple examples. I've heard these from coaches. So I have all these kids, and they're so needy, always in my business. It's hard for me to focus. It's hard for me to concentrate. They always need my time. All right, you work full time, and you have all these kids. So this is your excuse, right, for why you can't run your business. How about taking that excuse and turning it into your why for building this business so that you can then quit your job so that you have more time for your kids, right? People, same thing, oh, I just don't have any time. And this was me. Hello, I worked my booty off. I had a full-time job, I had a part-time job, and I was coaching at the same time. Easy to just sit back and go, you know what? I am super tired. I've worked all day long. I'm bringing work home. I don't have time to build a business at the same time or on the side. When the truth is that if you make time, right, and you use that, like I did, use that I don't have time excuse as your why for being able to quit your job so that you have more time, right? So take whatever excuse it is that holds you back and figure out how to turn that into motivation for overcoming the excuse. So basically take the negative and turn it into a positive. All right, that's all I had for you guys tonight. I'm going to unmute everybody. And I'd love to hear, oops, they changed the format on this and it's all different now. But I would love to hear from you guys any thoughts that you have. I tried to keep it short. I hope I didn't go too long for you guys. Any thoughts, any comments on what I had to say?
Mary, I do.
Okay.
I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday and telling her how I feel like I do get in my own way. Like every time I start doing well, it's so hard to admit, but like I let the fear of success overwhelm me. Like I think, oh my gosh, this could be really big. You know, my business could really turn into something big. And that scares me, and I don't even know why necessarily I have that fear, but it overwhelms me, and then I'm like, I just freeze in it. And I've done that several times in my business. I know you and I have talked about consistency, and it's like I get this momentum going, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, and I just kind of stop altogether. And so that's really my goal this time around, is to not stop and let it get big. You know, that's me getting in my own way. It's just the fear of what could be, and you know, the stuff people say, which it's so weird because in every other aspect of my life, I don't care. Like I'm totally the type of person that's like, I don't care what you say. Like that, your opinion has no value to me, except when it comes to this. It's like, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? And I don't know why.
Do you think that could, and this is just something to maybe think about, do you think that, and I'm just speaking from my own, but do you think that it could be something to do with not fully believing in the business? For me, when I started, I doubted myself a lot, and I had that same feeling like, oh, what are people going to say about me if I post about this? Oh, I've posted about Shakeology 3 times this week. Like, that's too many times. I'm going to scare people off. You know what I mean? And it took a few years of watching my impact grow and seeing the effect that I was having on people before it hit me that it's like, why do I care if somebody friends me or blocks me or talks about me? You know what I mean? But I think what I needed to do for myself is build up my belief in what I'm doing and build up my belief in the power of what this business can actually offer me.
Right. And see, like on the surface, I totally believe in this business. I mean, as far as like me drinking Shakeology every day and the workouts, I know they work. But I do have that like, oh my gosh, I don't want to post about it again. People are going to, you know, they're going to be tired of me posting. And so I think that is something I need to overcome. And I think like what you said, doing the research, you know, and having something to stand on to say, no, this is why it's amazing. That'll really help with that as well.
Yeah. And then and I'm so happy you mentioned this because it didn't make it on my list because I didn't think about it, but the fear of success. And I think that's something that affects most of us, if not all of us. And you mentioned like, well, I don't know why. Like, why would I be afraid of success? Well, let me just give you one to think about. I know for me, being afraid of success for me was about looking at my own, how I feel about myself and my own, I don't want to use the wrong word. It's not self-worth, but I guess capabilities and abilities and where I am now as a business leader and what I feel like my strengths are, and going, oh my God, if this explodes, say I signed up 10 coaches this month, how could I ever possibly be able to, keep ahead, I guess, stay ahead of the momentum and ahead of the growth? And that's scary. That is scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you something, I don't think that ever goes away. I think that you look at any coach, even like coaches who are elite, up in the top 10 coaches, they all have those thinkers because the further you go and the bigger you grow, the momentum ball is just ginormous, right? And so you're going to continue that speed. And I think what it comes down to is what they say all the time. You just have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's really what that is. You keep growing and you stay consistent and that business keeps building, it's going to push you. And nobody likes being pushed, right? That's not something that's like, oh, today, I just really feel like somebody pushing me today. Like, when's the last time you woke up and you said that, right? Like, you know, I'm in the mood today to be pushed. No, it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable.
And then this is going to sound crazy after what I just said, like being afraid of success, but then there's like also that part of me that's afraid of failure, right? So like I'm not, like I haven't hit Success Club in a couple of months. And to be honest, I haven't really tried because it gets down to the wire and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just not going to try because if I don't try, then I can't be down on myself for not doing it. I know that mindset is so twisted, but that's where I found myself these past few months. It's like if you set your expectations really low, then you're not as disappointed in yourself when you don't meet them. And again, this goes against like everything that I am. Like, go ahead, I'm sorry. Oh, that goes against like everything that I am in every other aspect of my life, but I've let that just creep into my Beachbody business and I recognize it, and so I'm going to push this month for Success Club, and I've hit Success Club like on the last day of the month, like at least 2 times and throughout the course of my business in a year and a half. So I know it's possible, but I've just kind of let myself get this tainted mindset of, you could try again next month, and then I don't.
Well, because if you don't try, if you know in your heart that, well, I'm not even going to try, then like you said, there's nothing to be disappointed in, right? Because if you go for it and you go all gung-ho and you're hard on it and then you don't hit Success Club, then it's like, that's upsetting because I really tried. So yeah, I understand that. It is a vicious circle though.
Right, I know. It's like, I remember saying that, like, I don't know, in March, and here it is June, and I'm like, oh, I'll start in July. No, like, why? And I had this little epiphany, and it's so stupid, like, but we have this big Arrowhead jug that we put all of our coins in, right, like our spare change, and so we've saved it up in there. Well, my baby, she's 15 months, she'll walk by and, like, stick her hand in there every time, and she knows that she's going to get it stuck. And so I told her the other day, I said, why do you do that? You know it's going to get stuck in there. Why do you keep putting your hand in there? And then, like, it just, like, bam, hit me. And I just started laughing, and my 4-year-old's like, what's so funny, Mom? I said, oh, baby, I go, Mom knows that at the end of the month, she's always pushing for Success Club, and she does it anyway. Like, you know, I let myself go till the end of the month, and here I am, like, getting on to her for doing something she knows what the result is going to be, and yet I do the same thing with my Beachbody business. So I don't know, just kind of hit me. But just talking about it, thank you, because just talking about it, like, I know that it's silly already, but when I hear myself say it out loud, I'm like, oh my gosh, Amanda, you're so dumb.
You know what?
So it helps.
I was thinking this today. If we would just say out loud the things we say to ourselves in our head, I think half of our battle would be won, because we all say dumb crap to ourselves all the time, and it doesn't make any sense. And if you said it out loud, you would laugh. You'd be like, what? Like, but we say it, and then we internalize it, and then we believe it, and then we let it affect us, right? But yeah, it's funny because some of this stuff, like, I hear my own head in my head, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. So anyway, thank you.
No, you're welcome. And no, that's like, I think that's a big part of the battle is, again, just speaking it out loud, you know, like if you have a fear or a doubt or anything like that, something creep in there, say it out loud and see how it sounds. I think the majority of the time you'll be like, what? That doesn't even make sense. Anybody else have anything before I let y'all go? Well, I just want to say that I love you guys, and I know this last couple months have been like really crazy. And today we're moving. We got the keys to our house. Literally, I picked the keys up at 2:30 this afternoon, and I was like, well, I have my team call tonight, and of course the thought, like, well, Mary, you can discuss what everybody would understand, like you're trying to move, and I was like, no, because I need you guys, and I hope that you feel like you need me. I mean, you're here on this call, so I assume you feel like you do. But I mean, I need this, and I hope it's as beneficial to all of you as it is to me. But you know, that's really where the rubber meets the road, right? Is when you could go either way. You could say, you know what, everybody would understand if I gave up on Success Club this month because I had this happen in my life, or everybody would understand if I didn't show up on the team call because X, Y, Z reason. But, you know, we say no. And we hold true and we hold fast to our goals and to our why, because that's what really, at the end of the day, it's all about consistency. And so I just want to thank you all for hopping on. I'm really glad. I love seeing your faces. I love talking with you. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all again next week. And I know I teased this the other day, so let me just throw it out there again. If anybody would like to add an additional chat during the morning, let me know, because I'm now full-time coach and I can do that. Hi, Josh. I see him. If you guys would like to add an additional midweek chat for maybe like brainstorming or whatever, just let me know. We can set one up. Okay, so just think about that and let me know. Sorry? Oh, I thought somebody said something. I'm thinking maybe either like Wednesday or Thursday morning. So just let me know if that works for everybody. And I will let you guys go. I hope you have a nice night. Enjoy the first evening of summer. Love you guys.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.